Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Acting Inspector General of Police disbands Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad and Special Tactical Squad, says SARS now to be domiciled in State Police Commands and the FCT. INEC alleges plan by politicians to engage food vendors for vote buying during the forthcoming general elections. National Industrial Court orders service of interim order by substituted means on the CCT chairman Danladi Umar in suit seeking to restrain the CCT from prosecuting the CJN Justice Walter Onoge, and at least 20 security personnel killed and many others injured in an attack on a military compound in Afghanistan.
On business news tonight, International Monetary Fund cuts its global growth forecast for 2019, reduces Nigeria's projection to 2% from 2.3%.
And on sports news tonight, Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams keep hope alive for the old guard as both make it to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open.
Hello, and from Abuja, former Minister of State for Defense Musliu Banikuro testifies against former Ekiti State Governor, admits giving him $5 million from security funds.
There's been another mild restructuring in the operations of the Police Special Investigation Panel and the Special Tactical Squad of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, FSARS. And that's because the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Muhammad Adamu, has ordered the immediate disbandment of the two units. Mr. Adamu announced this measure at his inaugural conference with commissioners of police and other senior officers in Abuja. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad is now to be domiciled in the 36 state police commands and the FCT under the direct control and supervision of the commissioners of police in various commands. The Special Investigation Panel and IGP Special Tactical Squad were established by the former IGP Ibrahim Idris, who also centralized the operations of SARS into federal SARS.
It is the inaugural conference between the 20th Indigenous Inspector General of Police and senior police officers in Abuja. The new police boss used the meeting to announce some major reforms aimed at repositioning the force.
The operation of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which is currently centralized at the Force Headquarters, is hereby decentralized. Consequently, with immediate effect, the Commissioners of Police at 36 police commands and the Federal Capital Territory are to assume full command and control authority on all Special Anti-Robbery Squad in their commands.
He also has stern words for commissioners of police and politicians on the forthcoming general elections.
Let me reiterate that while the police in all commands will secure law-abiding political actors, party faithful, and citizens in the course of the elections, nobody should be in doubt as to the capacity and renewed determination of the police to deal decisively with elements that attempt to test our will by engaging in political violence or other electoral offenses, including vote buying, which could threaten our democratic values.
The Inspector General of Police later welcomes the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who visited the police headquarters to solicit the cooperation of the force on the forthcoming elections.
Our responsibility is to safeguard the processes such that what Nigerians vote for is what determines who wins the election. Simple. So there is need for us to work very closely at all levels. Needless to say that INEC is responsible for the conduct of elections. The police is responsible for protection of the process.
The strategic planning meeting, which continued behind closed doors, is aimed at evaluating the performance of the force in previous electoral engagements, with a view to addressing challenges observed in addition to analyzing.
The first action of the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, dismantling the FSARS created by his predecessor, no doubt took some by surprise. In this report, our correspondent, Olorua Shonibare, explains and examines the unbundling of the security unit that in recent times made more enemies than friends among the people.
First it was SARS, then it was changed to FSARS, and now it's back to SARS again. The newly appointed Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, is stamping his authority on the force, and his first act is to decentralize the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, which was condensed by his predecessor. That the police chief made this move may not be an issue, as he is bound by his office to figure out the best way to run the force for effectiveness. The question might be how the people on the streets will react to the change, because not too long ago, SARS was regarded as the people's nightmare, which prompted the vice president, who, in performing the role of acting president, called for the overhaul of SARS. There was also a call to evaluate the mental state of SARS officers.
Shoot me. Shoot me.
Because some of us really, we need some kind of psychological training, screening. I just had a course now to talk to a policeman on the road in Ibadan. Somebody called me to intervene. Even the way a mannered policeman is talking, it doesn't suggest that he's a human being. So I think some of us actually require some medical and psychological training to ascertain our humanity.
What now should be expected from SARS that was different from before? Given the state of affairs with personnel, technology, wages, factors that certainly affect attitude. A lot of mistrust has developed in the minds of the people towards SARS. So what many will keenly watch out to see is how the police chief pulls it off without setting off fireworks. Olorua Shonibare, Channels Television News.
Now let's get another perspective on this issue. Joining me live from Abuja is a former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Lawrence Alabi. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you for having me.
Well, seeing as there was such a build-up and, public outcry, then the announcement came from the former IG, and now it's back to status quo. How do you see this development?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, I've been issue all along. We have what they call just a command structure. The command structure is that we have divisional level, area command level, the command level, state command level, area the zonal command level, and of course the force headquarters. And these are levels of command and control that is based on ensuring an effective supervision of the men and effective deployment based on need. So when units are being proliferated, multiplicity of units in a particular command, and those units are said to be pay allegiance or loyalty to the center, which is the IG's office, it's not too good for administrative structure and discipline, because in security operations, supervision is key and central. You need to supervise the men effectively, you need to accompany them, you need to ensure that you know what they are doing, that their directives and instructions are being carried out to the letter, and they're doing what they ought to do in line with the rules of engagement. But when a unit is in a command and taking instruction directly from the IG, and the Commissioner of Police, who is supposed to, in line with the Constitution, charge of a particular state command, has no control over such a unit. It's not too healthy for discipline, for operational effectiveness, and for coordination of security operations.
Okay, let me just ask you, because my initial question to you was, you've explained what the structure was before and why you want it the way it is, but have the issues that brought about the public outcry in the first place, including allegations of impunity, corruption, high-handedness, etc., that was the reason why the former IG decided to do what he did. Now, has that been sorted out now that we've said back to status quo?
Yeah, that has been addressed now. The present IG has already directed all state commands. They're going to be training on democratic policing and election management in all zones of the Federation. In fact, today in Abuja, it took place today in Abuja and Lokoja, and on the 4th and 5th, it will take place in Calabar and Lagos, and in all the zones. So, and the subjects, the topic, the themes for that need to be addressed is emotional intelligence. How? Because the emotions are key, a police officer is dealing with situations that require a management of emotions. And when you cannot manage his emotions or other people's emotions, you see him behaving very peacefully and behaving not in line with the law. So, and also the program emphasizes on the role of the police in promoting human rights and protecting human rights. Human rights is also key because police are not policing animals, they are policing human beings.
Okay, so will
their actions and policing.
Will the new emotional training include psychological tests? Because that became a big issue the last time, even when you've seen from the report before. Will it include that psychological testing as well, including emotional intelligence? And I'm asking that because it was such a big issue before.
Emotional intelligence is a psychological component that when you are able to manage your emotions and manage your emotions with other people, is that understand that intelligence what you have to understand your emotions, other people's emotions, is a psychological component of policing. And when you apply emotional intelligence in policing and law enforcement, you're able to control your emotions, you're able to understand when to act and not when to act, when to apply force or minimum force, and when to persuade. So these are the extents of using empathy, using compassion, using those social skills in controlling situations. So that emotional intelligence, which is key and central, is a new component that has been introduced in the police force now, and the present IG has ensured that that has to be emphasized. Human rights protection, and also to manage situations, because how to manage crisis situations without going unnecessarily outside the law. And again, they emphasize on the issue of wisdom and discretion. Wisdom is application of knowledge. We have a knowledge about a particular law, and a knowledge about your functions. Then how do you apply it? You have to apply it in line with the dictates of the law. So these are all the skills that every police officer is going to develop and apply. And the new IG, Mr. Adamu, has emphasized on this component of capacity building training program, because an untrained policeman is a threat to himself and threat to the society. So that's why he emphasized that training is very, very, very important to develop the capacity. When officers are being trained, given the requisite capacity, they develop confidence, they know what to do at the given time, and how to function effectively for the benefit of the citizens, not there to brutalize or to be honestly high-handedness or to act in a very beastly manner.
All right,
so I think this is a regime that I'm sure will actually transform the police and give the police a sense of pride and reinvent the slogan, police is a friend.
All right, former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Lawrence Amobi, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the news at 10 tonight. Now, let's discuss something about preparations for the elections. And the Independent National Electoral Commission says it's uncovered new plans by some politicians who are allegedly recruiting food vendors to facilitate vote buying in the forthcoming general elections. The INEC chairman, Professor revealed that the new vote buying strategy, and he said that at a meeting with the European Union Elections Observer Group in Abuja. According to him, politicians have earmarked some polling units across the country where food vendors will be positioned to give cash and other incentives to voters during the exercise.
Concerns about having a free, fair and credible election have continued to rise as the date for the 2019 presidential election draws near. International elections observer groups are also taking advantage of the last-minute window of discussions with INEC to dot the I's and cross the T's before the elections kick off. At this meeting with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja, delegations of elections observer missions from the ECOWAS and the European Union want an assessment of the electoral umpire's preparedness for the polls.
We want for this first meeting that we have with you to have your concerns and your priority during this election. We know that you have done a lot of work, but we are at the eve of the election, and perhaps you have some message to give to us and some concerns that you will bring to us in our job as team observer.
There are 4 core areas of expertise. There's legal, there's operations, there's media, and there's gender, and I think disabilities. This is because we think that those areas are really critical to successful elections.
While assuring the International Observer Mission of INEC's preparedness for the general elections, The chairman of the commission raises concern about plans by some politicians who are allegedly devising new method of vote buying.
The attention of the commission has been drawn to a new plan by some political actors to use food vendors around polling units with large voter populations as collection points for cash for votes, as well as other forms of material inducement to voters on election day.
He also reaffirms INEC's stance on the use of the card readers for accreditation, insisting that every other means of accreditation is illegal.
Clause 10 of the regulations and guidelines recently released by the Commission makes the use of card readers mandatory. It is an offense to accredit a voter by any other means.
It's less than a month to the presidential elections in February the 16th this year. The exercise will be keenly contested by 73 presidential candidates, the largest since the return of democratic rule in 1999.
In part two, after the break, federal government alleges plan by the opposition to disrupt the general elections using bandits and terrorists. PDP says allegation is an attempt to frame and arrest opposition members. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.